That means it is time. 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 Okay, quiet down. Quiet down. Quiet down. Okay, so now our guest can hear me. Or at least he should be able to. Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, we're good. So I want to welcome everybody into the official second episode of the Get Real with Ray podcast. The first episode was last month. Our guests were none other than B and Bree TV. We see them in chat right now. And this guest, is a little bit different. They are a solo streamer. They're not a couple streamer. So it's going to be a little bit different of a conversation than we had on the first episode. This is somebody who I've actually known now probably for almost over 2 years, because I've been streaming over 2 years and I took a break in between. But I met them, I think, through TikTok, actually. I saw one of those there's this little guy, doing like hey, is this two gamers looking at each other and we're going to be successful this year, or whatever the case was going to be. And I was like, okay, this brightened my day. I'll give them a like. I'll throw them a follow. And then I made my way over to their Twitch. And then the rest was history, and I think a lot of you have had the same experience with this individual, whether it was a thirst trap, right? Or whether it was, one of those quirky gamer lure in videos for views. But then when you get to know them, you realize that they, are a pretty great person. And they'll teach you a lot about yourself that you didn't necessarily know you needed to know, if that makes sense. So without further ado, you guys, let's hope this works, because I worked hard on this curtain. I'd like to officially welcome to episode 2 of the Get Real with Ray podcast, none other than Tuner Babooner himself, CartoonL1ve.
Hi guys. Did it work?
I think it worked.
Oh yeah, good job, right?
Can we hear him?
Can you guys hear me? My name's Toon. If you guys don't know me, I'm an FPS main. I've been streaming for 3 years. I went full time for the first time last year. I didn't have to get a side gig, and we dance, we party, we do a bunch of goofy stuff. But on top of everything, on my channel, I keep it very transparent, very real.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, I wanted him to do a short intro just for those of you who don't know him. I raised him up a little bit, so the volume should be better now. But you guys can feel free to write that in chat and just to let us know if technical stuff is being weird. He's perfect? Okay, thank you. So I guess we'll start with a little bit of an intro from me, a longer intro from me, and then we'll go into the first set of questions for Toon. So for those of you who don't know me, because I know a lot of you don't, my name is Ray. I'm a full-time attorney. I practice law from pretty much 8 a.m. every day to about 4 p.m. every day. I try to be done by 4 p.m. I also stream part-time, and I've been creating content on social media for about 8 years. I started with Instagram, and then as TikTok came to be, it evolved to TikTok, and a little bit of everything else. And now I started podcasting too. So, I just keep adding stuff to the plate, because I like being busy. I don't like sitting still.
No avenue is a bad avenue.
Exactly.
Well,
Well, I guess there could be some bad avenues. You never know. Okay, so that's enough about me. Toon, I want to know, I guess the first thing I want to talk to you about is your background. Because obviously we know you create content, you're on TikTok, you stream, but what were you doing before all this?
Right before COVID hit, I actually had 2 jobs. I was working a full-time job, part-time hours, full-time for them, as an assistant manager at a car wash. And for those of you that sleep on car wash people, listen, I've been making like $25 an hour with tips and all that stuff. So don't sleep on car washers, okay? Tip them good, all right? And I was working full time at a shop, Delta Faucet, people that do like your tub surrounds, your faucets, your whatever. I was a team leader there, and right before, probably like 2 months before COVID hit, I had quit and took the team lead position at Delta. And like 2 months into COVID. I sent a picture with a thermometer and like was like, hey, can't come in. I got a temperature, and no call, no. Hey, come into the office. They texted me and said that I was fired. Um, so off the record, I took their unemployment money and I started my streaming career.
Off the record, as we're live. Great. I love it.
Right.
Your lawyer loves it. Okay. And was that a full-time decision right away, or was it more part-time at first?
Well, I mean, it was full time right away. I was I wasn't making enough to cut my unemployment, so
Mm.
I was on unemployment, that good COVID unemployment for like 4 months, and then I went full time into streaming, which I was blessed to have a community and friends that were in a position well enough to keep me afloat for probably about 6 months. You know, they were more than giving at the very beginning of my career. Um, and then going into like the first year into streaming, I was doing it pretty much on my own. I had to pick up a side job every once in a while, which was the car wash. I went back to where my previous employment was, um, and made up for lost wages or whatever. But for the most part, we dove head in and got a lucky TikTok right off the rip. I went from 4 average viewers to 30 in 3 months. I had a TikTok blow up 500,000 views and huge amount of traffic come in, which was absolute blessing. Doesn't happen to everybody. So.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Don't you worry. Okay, so you would say, and I think this is a lot of streamers right now who are still doing it. They came out of kind of the COVID streamer boom, I've been calling it, where
Yep,
like
streamer boom.
some event happened and people were like, oh, well, I love playing video games, and I think I'm kind of funny, so I'm gonna start streaming and talk to people while I play video games. And for
Yep.
a lot of people we know, there's, I'm not gonna name drop, but there's plenty of examples of people who are making millions now because COVID happened and they did something because they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's people that started, like my peers that started where I'm. There's a lot of people that have quit, but there are a lot of people that have absolutely blown me out of the water as far as being a content creator and just like. I mean, I watched one person, in 6 months become Twitch partner. 6 months. I'm like, damn, I've been busting my ass. where did I go wrong? But everybody has their own path. Everybody gets where they're going, at their own pace. So,
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of going to get me into the next question was, so obviously everyone has different things that motivate them, right? And, we're going to talk about motivation in a little bit too when it comes to, where you are now. But at the beginning, I guess, what would you say your main motivation is? Because obviously, you're a father, right? So you have a little bit more of a different motivation than, let's say, I would or someone else would who isn't a parent, right?
So the reason I started streaming is I didn't want to. I was able to coach Jack's baseball this year or last year. If I was working at Delta still, wouldn't have been able to do that. Like I was on second shift. That was my shift because me getting up in the morning, not happening. That ain't happening. So I was on second shift, and I wouldn't get out of work until 1 a.m. And if we had overtime, 4 a.m. So I wouldn't have been able to do that. And my biggest thing was I wanted to start and be my own boss because if the kids got called out of school, they were sick, they had a field trip, they needed whatever. I was going to be able to be there and not have to worry about, hey, can I sneak out of work 2 hours early? So on and so forth. So kids was a big thing. I'm not going to say that's the only reason. Streaming has all the perks that you could think of. I save money on gas, I save money on tires, oil changes. So on and so forth. The list goes on. being your own boss, you set your own hours. Do I think that I work harder now than I did for any other company? 1,000%. Is it worth it? 1,000%. But yeah, probably my biggest motivation was probably being able to not have an attendance record for my kids. There's been plenty of times where Jack's gotten sick at school, and I've been like, okay, guys, I gotta go. Same thing with Peyton, especially when I lived closer to town. I was shut it down and zip over there in 5 minutes. So, that was probably it. That, and I had to put bread on the table, and nobody was hiring during COVID. So,
yeah, and that's I think what a lot of people talk about is like, streaming is great, right? But it's also a business, like you were saying. It's really hard. It's a hard business. It's not an easy business. It's fun, and when we're live, it looks fun, and it's
looks like you're just hitting go live.
Yeah, it's a great time, but there's so much behind the scenes that it takes a lot of work. And especially for someone who has kids, has a life, it's a huge time commitment. Just the behind the scenes. I don't know how you do it. Well, I'm
gonna be real. I got a lot going on around here, but I don't know how to. You got a whole lot of other people's drama and bullshit that you got to deal with on top of everything that you do. So like,
well, that's part of why I'm part time. Yeah, I can't. Full time would be too much. But I guess we'll bridge that into. So something I plan on asking every guest on this podcast, right? Because I'm hoping it's going to be people at all different stages in their streaming career or in their content career. So this one is advice for new streamers, and we all know that everyday run of the mill advice that everybody gives on TikTok or wherever. But I want to know from you, what's one real piece of advice, something that
anybody
you may not think of,
Anybody that comes into my stream and they ask for, don't do this. Don't come into fucking somebody's stream and be like, hey, I'm about to start streaming. Don't do that. First and foremost, there's your piece of advice. Anybody that starts streaming and they come to me and ask for advice, this is literally word for word. You make more friends offline than you do online. And what I mean by that is all the content, all the networking, everything X, Y, and Z that we're talking about off stream is literally going to make your following. Whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube Shorts, whether it's Reels, whether it's Facebook Reels, whether you're networking within the community and talking with people and making friends within somebody else's community, so on and so forth. Whatever you're doing, it's going to be offline versus online. If you just hit that go live button and expect people to find you, even on Kick, okay? Even on Kick, if you are coming to the platform with 0 viewers and you're expecting to be put on the front page just because they say, hey, we look out for the little guy, it's not going to happen. You have to put in work offline and on separate platforms, just like Twitch. They are looking out for the smaller streamers over on Kick. I give them that. I would have never seen the front page, even at my size on Kick or on Twitch. I would have never. In 2.5 years, I never seen featured. So, sorry for the Twitch people. I'm not trying to start anything, but that's just my experience. Yeah, that's my advice. You'll make more friends offline than you will online, and that's with if you meet somebody online and you spend more time with them offline, they're probably more willing to come and hang out in your stream because they know you more on a personal level.
Yeah, I would agree. 100%. I would say even streamers that I have followed, before I even started streaming, the ones that I still follow and still talk to and still am in their chats with are the people that I've engaged with outside of just them being live, whether it's playing in a game with them, whether it's, being in their guild on World of Warcraft or anything.
Dude,
just like
your community raids is 1,000%. Like, even if you were doing that off stream, obviously you're doing it for content and like you want to capture that, which is, great. But that is something that you can do online because you have that, you've built that trust with those people to have them in voice chats and yada, yada, yada. But that is exactly what I'm talking about. You're taking your game, you're taking your niche and personalizing it, which is 1,000% exactly what I'm talking about. You're bringing that personable aspect to your stream to maybe entice somebody that's new to say, hey, I would like to get into that raid. I'd like to get to know Ray. I'm going to start showing up and maybe I can get in a spot.
Yeah. And I will say, like, that goes perfectly with your advice. You're right. It's just like something that, and I didn't even think about it like that at the beginning. I was just like, because I don't raid with the guild currently, for anybody that's wondering. I don't have the time. I can't stay up till midnight to raid. But
what's your raid time? 9 to 12?
Goodbye. But so I don't know. I started it because like I wanted people who were in my position who didn't have a guild, who maybe don't have a huge, community already established within the game that they can do stuff with, to have a place just to hang out and do it. And it makes sense, and I've met so many people. And that's
genuine through that. And people love that shit. People love that shit. Wait, the fake personas wear off. I've been in here 3 years. There's people that have done it way longer than me, but I've gone through the rough in my last 3 years. So like fake personas wear off. The genuine and realness will last forever. So like you started that on a genuine note, and it will has the foundation to be something great.
I appreciate that. I hope. Yeah. I mean, I know it will, because it's fun. We just have fun. At the end of the day, it's just fun. Yep. So I want to circle back a little bit to what we were talking about before. You brought up social media. Specifically for you, because this is how I kind of found you, was through TikTok. You brought up a specific video, 500,000 views. Do you think without TikTok, you would be where you are today?
Not a chance. 98% of my following is from TikTok. Not a chance.
And that just
zero. There's so many people talking shit about TikTok right now, and it's all ads, it's all TikTok shop, it's all this, it's all that. It's still, with all the bullshit that it's going through right now, it is still the most vital for content creators, hands down. YouTube Shorts is sneaking up. Do not sleep on YouTube. Take all of your TikToks and put them on TikTok, or put them on YouTube Shorts.
Yep.
All of them. But to answer your question, I would be nowhere near where I'm at if still streaming without TikTok.
Some people are gonna say crucial. They're gonna say it's luck. Do you think it's luck, or do you think that it was just timing?
70% luck, 30% work. That's what I stand by. Yes, it's a lot of work, and the 30% is your whole 18 hours of your day just grinding, putting out content, editing videos. Yeah, that 30% is a lot of work. But if that video doesn't hit the right spot on the right time and the right algorithm, there's your 70% luck. 70% luck, 30% work.
That's true. I mean, I agree. It's crazy because TikTok, and you know more than anybody, it's like you could edit a video for 2 hours, think it's the most amazing thing, and it gets 100 views. Or you could take something stupid, don't even edit it, maybe just like cut it once or twice and then upload it, and it hits 50, 60,000, which is
my videos that I take the most time on do the worst, and the videos that I take a one take on that's 3 seconds long do the best.
And that's what I tell everybody. Like, even like, and I recently, on TikTok have found kind of like some videos that are doing better than others, but they're the videos that I'm not trying on. And that's exactly what you said. It's like the stuff that's just like, you just do it because you're doing it anyway.
You need a piece of content out.
Yeah.
You need it's halfway through the day, you haven't posted something yet. You're like, fuck, let me throw something out. And that video hit 3,000 views like that.
Yeah. So let's talk about consistency next, because you brought up 3 times a day, which is specific to TikTok. Not every platform has that type of algorithm, but as far as consistency, do you feel, because this is like a myth that I think everybody hears, is that if you're not posting, if you're not creating, if you're not present, that you'll fall off and disappear?
Losing motivation and losing, what's the word I'm looking for here? Inertia. What's the word I'm looking for?
Momentum.
That's the one. Losing momentum on any social platform will kill you, and trying to regain that momentum is crucial.
Yeah.
The last 6 months of last year, I took a step back. I was going through a lot, you know, grandparents and there was things within my community that whatever. So I took a step back away from social media, and I was posting game clips. And anybody that knows me, this is going to go against what you do. Anybody that knows me and my content, I don't post game clips. I don't think that it's personable enough. I want to showcase my personality on social media. So when you come over, you still get that same person that you see on social media. But, if you like the game, here's the other half. So I was posting game clips, one a day, just to keep the consistency, just to keep my page active. But it wasn't hitting. So consistency mixed with lack of effort is the same thing. If you go from one tide to another tide, whether you're consistent, whether you're not consistent, doesn't matter, because it just specifically with TikTok is looking for what's hitting on your page. So I can go back to last year, and if you've been following me the last 2 weeks, I've been using a sound from last year, and it's hitting repeatedly, just repeatedly. It's hitting, 6,000 views, 10,000 views, 30,000 views. TikTok looks for that specific type of thing. I can use the dun 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 that sound, and it'll hit every time. What will it hit? 100,000 views? No, but will it hit 2K? Yeah. Will it find new people? 100%. I don't know what it is about the TikTok algorithm. I'm not I don't read algorithms, but like that's what I've seen that's consistent with TikTok is I can use sounds that have done well for my channel, and they will continue to do well. So when I find a sound that does, I dial in on it and I abuse the shit out of it. So
that's a good piece of advice. Yeah, because I think a lot of people. I mean, I do it. I use a sound once, and I'm like, okay, I move on. And I think it's a good thing to think about. For anybody posting on, I guess specifically TikTok, but even Instagram Reels, because sounds are similar there. If a sound does well, keep using it. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll move into a little bit more of some more sensitive topics, just because this is the Get Real podcast, so we can't only stick to the fluffy stuff.
We're just skimming the top. He said just the tip of the iceberg. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah. we can't only do fluff. Fluff is great, but we can't only do fluff. Let's talk about friendships and relationships.
Okay. Ooh.
So in this industry, right, in general, and by industry I mean content creation, streaming, all that stuff, all those people, there's friendships that form, there's sometimes relationships that form, and there's sometimes relationships that unform, we'll call it.
We'll call it snakes in the fucking grass is what we'll call it. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I guess my ask of you is, what would you say you've learned, right? Whether it's friendships, relationships, whether it's personal, online, wherever the case may be, what would you say that you've learned over, the past couple of years when it comes to maintaining those friendships, or kind of even ending a friendship, if you need to, or kind of letting it fizzle out?
When it comes to streaming or content creation as a whole, there is a whole lot of good that can come from this. But the yin and yang of life, the whole lot of good comes with a whole lot of bad. Throughout my 3 years, I've been really good at being able to point out a rat really early on, depending on engagement, depending on how people interact, whatever. I've been really good. Like, I brag about it, bro. Like I'm good at it. Like like I'm like this motherfucker. Yeah. But as far as like the good relationships, I mean, Magic is one of my best friends, and he was one of the first people that ever made any type of like fan art for me. He made my first TikTok video by a fan, right? By a fan. We'll say that. Um, and I've had, he's been with me for almost 3 years now, if not 3 years now. And that relationship, that friendship is gold to me. That is my best friend. Now on the other hand, there's been plenty of people that have come along that have seemed very friendly, but once if you're on a peak, you're gonna have an influx of people looking at you. And me being, I'm still newer. I still don't, think that I've been in the game long, Um, but me being fresh, a little green behind the ears, I took those friendships at word, I guess, and it bit me in my ass. And even still, this last year, I still went through that a little bit. Even being experienced as I am, and I think that it comes with any industry, to be honest. There's always going to be that person that, whether it's kissing the boss's ass, whether it's, the drama stirrer within the company that just wants to know everybody's business, whether it's, whatever the case is, there's always going to be those types of people wherever you go. Coming into content creation, I give people fair warning. There's people that's just started streaming within the community and stuff like that. And I try to guide people as best as I can, but I will never, ever tell anybody don't. And the reason I don't do that is because somebody might treat me some way and they might treat you completely opposite. They might be in it for you rather than being in it for themselves. When they were the way they treated me, they were for themselves. And if they're, they might be with you. If they, if they mess with you, if they fuck with you, then they might be ride or die for you. So I'll never ever tell anybody don't. As far as like making friendships with people or that person's, this way or whatever. I always, when things happen within my community, it's always nameless. I don't mess with drama. I don't like drama's not it. Drama's for my shoulders. The community's there to have a good time, a great time. Loving, warm, whatever. Any drama that stirs up is on my shoulders. Do I let them know? Already done told you. I'm transparent. Hey, this is what fuck's going on. I'm not gonna name any names. If you guys figure it out, great, cool. Keep it the fuck out of chat. Keep it out of the Discord. I don't care. There's good and bad, man. Yeah. I there are some relationships that I've made inside Twitch, Kick, content creation that I absolutely adore, and there's been plenty of relationships that I have had that have taught me a lesson. Do I regret them? No, because most of them, I have memories for fucking until I'm 100 years old. So do I regret them? No, they're stepping stones. They're lessons. They're
yeah.
So
I think that's a good way to look at it. Lessons, and that's kind of how I would phrase it. And I think and that's where we differ a little bit. Is that I've said this to you, like coming into your channel is like talking to an old friend that you've known forever. It's super welcoming to everybody, no matter who you are, unless you say something off the cuff in chat as your first message, then obviously you're not going
to get the chaos hammer.
Obviously then you're not going to get welcomed in. But whereas I'm, I guess, instinctively and maybe naturally just more weary, I'm more hesitant to befriend people. And I think that just comes with my nature. It just comes with, I think, also where I live. I live in New York. Surprise, surprise.
I'm also, you can ask anybody. I'm very, I don't like, I'm very warm, right? Yeah. But when it comes to collabing, like with you, when you asked me to do this, 100%, 100p. But if somebody that I didn't, don't you do it? if somebody came to me that, sorry, my camera likes to move for everybody that doesn't know. It likes to follow me around. If it was somebody that just came up to me that I had met a month ago, the answer would have been no, 1,000%. Unless they've been like really invested in the community, people are vibing with them, whatever. Cool. But I'm also very weary, especially after everything that I've been through. These 3 years of, it's been an emotional roller coaster, bro. Like, woo. I mean, you've been a part, you've been around, so like you've seen the waves. So it's
I was gonna say,
you got to protect yourself.
You can't hide everything, right? Twitter is a public forum. So that kind of leads me into what I was gonna ask next: is how do you handle backlash? Because there's public backlash, there's private backlash, and then there's kind of like an internal backlash that goes on. So how do you handle it?
So I've never really dealt with public. I have had one incident, which is I was on a podcast, and that podcast is no longer around, just so everybody knows. I was on a podcast, and the question was, and it was a question from Chad, and it was from a single mom. And for everybody that doesn't know, there's a lot of mothers in my chat. And the question was, as a single mom that doesn't get a lot of like downtime, how would you go about streaming? And my reply was, when the kid goes down for a nap, when they go to bed, you got a couple extra hours after time. I said, because when somebody comes in to stream, they don't want to hear a screaming kid. Mm-hmm. And that goes for everybody. My children aren't, they're right upstairs right now. They could be in here running around doing whatever. As a professional, when you go into a business, excluding home businesses, right? You got your mom and pop shops. You don't have kids running around doing, whatever inside like the establishment, right? Customers might have kids running around doing whatever, but the establishment doesn't. I said, so get a time frame and do that. And they twisted my words and said that I said single moms shouldn't stream. And I was like,
imagine.
So that was the first public backlashing, and I just let it ride. I don't.
Yeah.
People who know me. People who don't, and they just wanna assume and go off of somebody else's word, and that's not worth my time. So public backlashing, I would probably deal the same way. I stay away from all controversy, all that stuff. I deal with people saying that I'm white knighting against, women gaming. They say that if I'm sticking up for it, or if I'm voicing out about it, that I'm white knighting, but I just make fun of it. They come at me sideways, and then I make a TikTok about them and say, "Hey, enjoy your 15 seconds of fame." So public, YouTube is terrible. I'm gonna let you guys know that right now. You get into YouTube, don't pay attention to the comment section. That shit is awful. It is a bunch of 5-year-old children just negative. Internally, it eats me up, especially if it's somebody that I thought was a friend. I have invested a lot of time in a lot of people that have done me wrong. So internally, that has caused some of my biggest dips when it comes to peaks and valleys. A lot of internalizing, because I don't ever want my community to feel like they can't go and watch somebody because they did me wrong. So I internalize it all. The only people that really know anything is my mods, and sometimes I don't even tell them. Obviously the mods that pay attention know who is who and whatever, because they stop coming around. Then they're like, "Hey, where's so and so?" And I'm like,
I don't know. So what do you do? What's the answer to how do you deal with it? Like, do you meditate? You take time off? Do you go? We know you don't love to go outside, so what's the I guess the remedy for it?
I'm built different. Honestly, I just work through it. Honestly, like okay. You can ask anybody. The stuff will slip and things like that. I work through it. I will either invest a lot of time in a game and get my rank up. I will, you know, because gaming's my hobby. Whether I'm doing this for a living or not. Like some people are like, don't mix your hobby with your living or whatever. I'll be on this PC for 18 hours a day. If my kids ain't got nothing going on, bro, I'm dialed in. Like Pale World came out, stop it. Stop playing with me. No. So when it comes to when it comes to things, man, I just work through it. I talk with my people, my close friends, you know, I'll vent to them. I guess if that's the answer you're looking for, I have a select few that I'm like, hey, I'm pissed, you know, and then I'll go back to gaming. Or there'll be late nights, you know, Magic, me and Magic will be sitting there bullshitting and like get me out of the headspace for a little bit. Yeah, man, I just kind of I work through it. Like January of last year was my biggest valley, and I came out way bigger than I could have ever imagined. 2023 was an absolute record-setting year for me. And that's with me slacking off the last 6 months because of things going on. Like, I say this all the time. Your biggest valleys come with your biggest peaks. And that's 1000% true. And once you battle all the demons that you get through, you are 10 times stronger and you come back 10 times energized. And I will forever say that. Your biggest fall will be your biggest comeback. As long as your mental is right and you want something and you're gonna work for that shit, your biggest fall will be your biggest comeback. And I stand by that every single time because when I thought I was done, when I thought I was gonna quit in 2022, I came back and we got partner. I came back and we got partner. And then I fell at the end of coming into 2023, I fell again and came back, and you know we had a record-setting year. This year, I'm hoping not to fall.
maybe a few more.
This year, I got my balance. I'm not falling off, dude.
A few
I
more.
got no more life alert buttons.
no more valleys. Maybe just peaks from now on. Just keep going up. It's gonna get chilly, but you just keep going up.
Right. I ain't got no more life alert buttons to hit.
Okay, so that's something I've heard before though. Is there are people who turn, you know, I guess internal strife into work, you know, and into motivation, and that makes sense. That's how it fuels you almost, which is good. That's a healthy way to look at it too, you know, because it's very easy, like you said, just to sit and ruminate and mope and do nothing. And I think that so many people, and I see it so much in other communities, because I think a lot of the people who come into my chat are more in the gaming area. They're not so much, there are streamers, but there's not as many streamers as, let's say, your chat or someone else's chat. And I see it in other people's chats, and they come in and they immediately trauma dump, and they're like, blah, blah, blah is going on, this is happening. And then I always think, I'm like, well, what are you doing about it? Like, you're coming in here, you're telling everybody what's going on, but what are you doing about it? There's only so much we could all do for you. And I think that
I have an automated message that's like, I'm not a therapist. Don't do that in my chat. I literally have an automated message that says, you know, we're here for good vibes. We love you, but don't do that. We're here for a good time. We're not your therapist. Like, love you guys. You want to go talk about something? Take it to the Discord. You know, I don't bring that shit into chat because I'm trying to keep vibes up here. You know, especially if it's a Monday. You know, everybody got the Monday blues. You come in here and talk about, you know, your dog died or something. Like, love you. Take it to the Discord. I know. Don't bring it to my chat.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like, you don't know, and it's hard with people who come in and do that because you don't know what other people are going through, and they could be in your chat to not think about that thing, and then it ends up being the same thing, and now you got two people who are upset,
and you got two people talking about it, and then a third person, and then a fourth person, and a chain link. So it's nothing against people coming in and feeling safe. I want you to feel safe, but I also want you to come in and maybe not think about it and just kind of vibe out and, you know, get you in a good headspace rather than, you know, coming in here and maybe trauma dumping and then, you know, that triggers somebody else, you know. So we have an automated message.
Yeah, hey, I mean, that's what you got to do. um, so I guess we'll talk about now. And a lot of the questions that were submitted were about this, so I figured I'll just turn it into one question for now. So I watched your transition from Twitch to Kick. You know, you went from being full-time on Twitch to full-time on Kick to a little
Get this
bit
question a lot.
of both at some point, and now I think we're back 100% on Kick. I guess I know, so I want you to, you know, give the background and be honest with it, because I know why you switched, but I want you to let everybody else know what was the main reason when it came down toward the end of the day. What was the reason you made the switch?
Loyalty is a really big thing for me. You can ask any of my mods. We had 2 mod meetings about the Switch because Twitch built me. Well, Twitch didn't build me. I built myself, but I built myself on Twitch. So I felt very loyal to them because they gave me the opportunity to be my own boss. The main reason is one thing after another. Twitch came out with new DMCA as soon as I started streaming. New DMCA, which Kick said that they're gonna do, which whatever. The artist, it's the artists, so, which Kick said that they're gonna do, but they haven't implemented yet. But they came out with the DMCA, and then I think right before I switched, there was like a little mini thing every single quarter. It felt like. And the last thing, that threw me over the edge was I was trying to get a partnership with Logitech at the time. And I've been trying to get a partnership with Logitech for 2 years, going on 3 now, because, they have a certain requirement. And I got a contact with Logitech, and I didn't really push it. To be honest with you, I didn't really push it because I had so many other things that were in the works. I've gotten 4 since October of last year. So we've been working the last 3 months. We're back on our bullshit. But the last thing was, if I'm putting 2 years into getting a partnership, and then I get this partnership, I'm super excited about this partnership, and I really want to, maybe it's another avenue for me to make money on, and I really want to make money on this avenue because I really believe in Logitech. I'm not promoted. I really believe in Logitech. And then they say you can only have it 3% of your screen. Why? This is my fucking business. This is where I generate my income and make you guys half of what the fuck I make. So why am I cutting my money? Why are you cutting my money? I don't think Twitch is for the streamer. Obviously, I mean they just came out and said that they're 30% layoff, and then they've been in the red for over a year. The only reason that they would be in the red for over a year is because the big dogs are making too much money and the little people aren't making any money. They get ads, they get our subs, they get the biddy cut right off the top. They should be buku dollars, bro. They should be rolling in dough. I felt very, very much they didn't care for us. We were there to make them money. Kick, on the other hand, people can talk all the shit they want. You stay wherever you want to stay. I don't care. I still have part of my stream. Stop it. Still part of my stream team is still on Twitch, and I still support them. You're still on. You're on both, and I still come in both chats. Not all the time. I miss quite a few streams, but I pop in when I can. It doesn't matter the platform to me. Platform doesn't make the streamer, and that's what I had. That's the conversation I had with my mods. Is the platform doesn't make the streamer makes the platform, and that's what it is. 95.5, huge, massive. Let's talk about the partnership program.
Yeah.
Anybody that talks on Kick, bro, let's talk about the partnership program. I don't care. The biggest thing was when I was making the switch at the time, maybe not so much anymore. Biggest thing back in the day was it's governed by stake. Twitch is governed by DraftKings. Name me the difference. One's sports and one's not.
Yeah. It's true.
to make a judgment call off of hearsay, which is, something that I don't, same thing with people in general. Like if somebody talks to you about me and they don't like me and you just don't like me because somebody else doesn't like me, then that's on you. That's on you. So whoever stayed, and whoever went. And, I have been extremely blessed over on Kick. Extremely blessed. Yeah, the main reason is because I felt very betrayed by Twitch, if I'm being honest.
And I mean, I watched you go through it, and I was, and I think I can relate it, to, because I don't stream full time, obviously, so it's not the same, I guess, financial dependency, like emotional dependency on it that someone who does stream full time would have. But if I worked at a job, right, any job, and your job was doing things that made you feel uncomfortable or made you feel unappreciated, you would
move to a different business.
You'd be like, oh, maybe I should start looking for a job.
On top of taking half your wages.
And then if they took half of your money, you'd be like, wait, something's not right here.
So 2 + 2 = something don't add up here, bro.
So, that's how I relate. That's how people like me who do work full time, I can see it. So I get it, and that's why anyone who switches to green, I understand. I understand it because, like, if somebody, if I was, I have private practice also, right? So if somebody was saying I'm taking half of the money you're getting from your cases, I'd be like, wait, what do you mean? This is my business. You can't just take half of it.
Exactly.
So I get it. No, I completely understand it. I think that people, and I think that there's a special place in a lot of people's hearts for Twitch, and that's, I think, the toughest thing to come over. Yeah.
Comfortability. That's why I always support both sides. The platform doesn't make the streamer makes the platform. If I enjoy your content, I'm going to go wherever you go, no matter what.
Yep. And
I don't really mess with YouTube. There's a couple people that went to YouTube, so I guess I can't say that. Love their content. I like their video if it comes up. And I'm not catching your live on YouTube. I'm sorry if you stream on YouTube. But that shit's a whole beast, and I haven't dived in, So but between the two, it doesn't matter, where you stream. If I enjoy you and if I know you, I will still support you no matter what side. Am I more so on Kick now? 100%. Am I only over there for the people that I do know right now? Yeah. Like I didn't want there to be a severage, but when the partner program dropped and I was doing both and I was doing late nights and all this other stuff, it was pushing my viewership, one way or another. And they weren't always in one spot. Now I'm like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm at this time, be there, be square, or, you're going to miss me because I'm pushing and the number crunch is real. And, I appreciate the lurk. If you're lurking, great. If you're lurking while you're working, great. But yeah, man, I don't know.
And I think, I mean, that's a good answer. That's an honest answer. And I think, one of the other questions that, kind of incorporated into this, which I think we got the answer to, was somebody asked, did you do it for the money? And it doesn't sound like that was 100% of the reason. Obviously, in the back of your head, this is your full-time job.
I lost money.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to say. We spoke about that, on your stream. You've spoken about it.
I lost money when I did the switch. Everybody's like, 95.5, you're probably making buku money. No, I lost fourth wall gifting. So I had made a decent chunk of change, enough to pay my rent twice in the first 6 months of being on Purple. I made enough money on my merch because of the gifting, because of the, whatever. I lost that avenue of income. Biddies are a huge thing, bro. Like when kicks come out, I'll probably my revenue will probably go up a little bit. But I was making more in biddies than I was on subs.
Yeah, I mean, because the split's better too.
Right. Yeah. So I lost on biddies, and my sub count because of all the things that PayPal's not inquired. Like it's not on Kick yet. So a lot of people don't want to connect their card. My subs cut in half because one, the issues that they have. You know, it's in beta, whatever. So sometimes the card doesn't go through, sometimes it gets declined, whatever. So my subs are cut in half. You know, that doesn't matter because I'm making the other half, right?
Yeah.
So I went from a certain number and cut in half, but I'm still making the same amount because I'm making 95.5 instead of 50.50.
Yeah. So it's not like you're here, you know, in a golden bathtub with like dollars floating all over you. Yeah.
Not even close. Not even. I was making more money on Twitch, which you know, it is what it is. But I feel more in control on Kick over my own platform than I did on Twitch because everything was getting nitpicked. If once you hit like a certain threshold and like you start reaching out to brands and things like that, those brands are going to be next to your name that are also next to your platform, right? And I felt like Twitch was limiting, you know. So
yeah, I mean, and that's a big thing I think too, is that if you know, like I know you, so I know your expectations of yourself to grow and to transcend where you are now are super high, right? And if you feel like where you currently are, and this goes with any job, I feel like if you feel like where you currently are is limiting your capacity to grow, you need to move on. You need to change.
1,000%. Comfortability kills everything.
It kills everything, and I tell people that all the time. Like I said this on the last episode, and I'll say it again, is that I never in 1,000 years would have thought I would be streaming, I would be a lawyer, or that I would be hosting a podcast. Like I was a shy kid. Like I was not the popular kid whatsoever, if you can imagine that. But I went to law school and I was like, hey, you know, let's see what this is like. And then I was in court and then I was like, okay, now I really got to talk because someone's life is in my hands. And the uncomfortability and the challenge, it changes you in a way that makes you comfortable doing anything, you know. And this
is my favorite saying.
Yeah.
Success is on the other side of fear. As soon as you conquer that fear, boom, you're there.
I like that.
No matter what it is. As soon as you conquer that fear.
I was gonna say, can you say it again so we could clip it?
Success is on the other side of fear.
Perfect. Hey, we gotta repurpose the content. We gotta, you know, that's the game.
Hey, dude, chop it up.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch over. I'm gonna pull up the official Q&A that everybody submitted. So thank you guys again for submitting the Q&A. It is helpful, and a lot of it, you know, I did try to consolidate into the questions I just asked because I didn't want there to be too much, you know, duplicate questions going on, because we could talk all day, but we know people have lives. So I'm gonna start to go through these quickly, and I guess we'll try to limit these to like one-liner answers, Toon, so that way we can try to get through as many as possible.
I like to talk.
I know. You try your best. Try your best.
Okay.
Is there one occurrence in life that you wish you could change? Very open.
I would say no, because whatever I went through has made me who I am today.
Yeah, I agree with that. We went over that one. Okay, this is a good one. I guess we spoke about it a little bit. Moving into 2024, which I guess this was submitted like on the cusp of the new year, or right when the new year came into be, with such a plethora, very good vocabulary, whoever wrote that, of streaming platforms. Which platform do you feel like is going to have the greatest success in 2024?
I would love to say Kick. I would love to say Kick. If we're talking statistically, unless we're talking about strictly Dickly, a streaming platform, potentially Kick. But if we're talking about all of them together, statistically, I think YouTube.
That's interesting.
Their short form, their long form. They're working on their streaming platform. But if we're talking strictly streaming, potentially Kick. My thought process on Twitch is, I don't know when, but what I think is the CEOs, the big dogs, are going to drain it and then sell it. That's what I think is going to happen with Twitch. So I don't think Twitch is in the running. To be honest with you, if they flip it, cool, good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but in my opinion, I think they will drain and then sell out, and then whoever picks it up, whether it's Kick, YouTube, Trovo, whatever, somebody will pick it up, and then it'll go from there. But
Yeah, I mean, I
I
think
would say,
that's a lot of people. Yeah.
yeah, those two platforms, YouTube for everything, Kick potentially, just because of last year's growth. I think they have I think they have a good shot, especially with the partner program coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Twitch was, and now I've spoken about this with a lot of people. Twitch has been on top for a long time, and because it was the only option, right? There was nothing else. But now that there are so many other options, and people are seeing that there's other options, I think 2024, we're gonna see a big change. I think, and
they don't have it monopolized anymore.
Yeah, there's no more monopoly.
They did it for a decade, and now they don't, because they didn't listen to anything we said.
And I think it scares them. You can tell it scares them, because they're maneuvering to save money, And I said this, and I'm not I'm not a financial analyst at all. I don't even do math. I can barely do basic math. But I said in my just my my seeing things unfold with other companies. Generally, when people start laying off people and cutting to save money, that's usually a signature of a Chapter 11 filing for bankruptcy. I'm not saying I'm predicting that, but if it happens, you heard it here first. Just saying, wink, wink. But but you never know. Then that could save them. It has saved companies in the past too. Mm-hmm. So you never know. It might be the smart thing to do.
That's what I said. If they flip it, cool. Like that's great. Like they have a solid base. They have a solid fan base, right? Like all the Twitchers that came out when Kick it was crazy. That drama, that shit was nuts. I was like, I don't have a side. Hashtag pick Kick, but like I don't have a side. Like that shit was crazy. The fan base is nuts.
Yeah.
So if they would just listen, I think that they would have I think they have a solid chance of flipping it around.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on. The next one. So this is kind of same topic, but we kind of spoke about it. But moving into 2024, obviously 95.5 is nice. But if you had to give up a percentage, what do you think a fair sub split would be in 2024?
70-30.
Okay. I like that answer.
It's the same as YouTube.
Yeah. Because 95.5 is obviously it's amazing, but I think if you
want, they said it's sustainable for 5 years.
Okay. I mean, I hope.
Just that's what I heard. But 70-30, I would be okay with 70-30, especially if ads come out and stuff like that, because there's a lot of talk. Everything's speculations, but there's a lot of room to grow on this platform.
Yeah, that's a good life. I mean, a good outlook. It's straight to the point, so that's fair. Let's see about this one. What is one good thing about streaming on Twitch, and what is one bad thing about streaming on Kick? Interesting. Okay.
One good thing about Twitch would be channel points. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more interaction. The interaction, the hype trains, all the bells and whistles that we do not have on Kick is probably something that hurts me revenue-wise. Hype trains are huge, man. I just had somebody come in yesterday and say, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, and say, I miss hype trains. Literally. So all the bells and whistles are extremely missed. Channel points, interaction, like there's different things that people come in for, obviously for different channels. And that's probably one of the biggest one, is like the interactions, the little extras.
Yeah.
One thing bad about Kick, it's very bare bones, but if you guys want a deeper one, I do miss stream elements. I really do miss stream elements. So they're bots. I give you 2 because that's kind of on the surface too.
Mm-hmm.
One thing bad about Kick is their time for implementation. They said that we would have PayPal and all that stuff, 4th quarter of last year. and we still don't have it.
Yep.
So the false promises kind of suck.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard because and it's like with any big company as they grow, this stuff is going to happen. Things are going to be pushed back. Nothing's going to happen as quick as when they were smaller, right? So that's a good answer. 100%. It's fair. I guess this next one is, who are some people who have inspired you throughout your journey as a content creator? And who do you look up to specifically in the streaming space and why?
It's loaded. Somebody that inspired me, that was closer to my level, not even near, just was Sweet Tales.
And
obviously,
say that.
Absolutely different dimension from me, but closer to me. Somebody that I really look up to is Tim the Tatman. And the reason I look up to Tim and not Doc or Ninja or Courage or whatever is I watched him go from 200 viewers to back down to 20 to where he is now. And with that, the interaction that he keeps with his 50,000 viewers is impeccable. It's insane. He takes, 30 minutes, hour, every stream, just chatting, boom, hitting comments as they're coming. Obviously, now he's bigger. It's donos that he pays more attention to. That's just the way of life. To get on that level and be able to have a mod like Whips, which would probably either be Chaos or Magic for me. No offense, other mods that are in chat. Would be insane. Like the way that that Whips trolls him and shit like that. Like that's what I hope to be. Maybe not quite that big, but that's somebody that I look up to because he keeps the genuine, the humbleness, the real. He never lost the realness of knowing where he started.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you picked them. And that's like a lot of people who I always tell, people who ask like, oh, who should I watch on Twitch? Who should I? And at the time, now I can't unless she comes back. But Sweet Tales was somebody, who I'm nowhere, we're nowhere near her caliber. But like, she's somebody who you can go into her stream. She's just fun. Like there's no other word. Like it's just fun. And that's somebody who I always say, like, if you want to see a streamer who engages with chat, is still a person, is fun, is a little wild at times, most of the time, go there. And that's a perfect example, of someone to look up to. Because she is super thankful, and I hope she comes back soon. Everyone's saying like, she's coming back.
She posted. She said she's coming back. I'm excited too.
She's been teasing it, but that's a good. Yeah, those are two really good examples, I think, of people who anybody, if you want to look up to somebody in the streaming space, one of those individuals is perfect.
I mean, if she ain't streaming, go look at her TikTok, man. Sweet Tales is fucking hilarious. I can only wish to be on that level, bro. She's fucking hilarious.
So let's see. This one is okay. This is an interesting one. If you were the CEO of Kick, or currently head of Kick, what would be an immediate change you would make to the platform and why?
I can't answer that because I don't know what hoops they have to jump through. Right? We can all assume that like Eddie's just sitting there fucking twiddling his thumbs, but I don't think that's the case because Eddie's done so much, right? Yeah, I can't even answer. We want Mix It Up over here.
Yeah.
We want Mix It Up over here. We want PayPal. We want channel points. We want hype trains. We want, there's so many. There's a plethora of things that we want. So I don't know. I don't know. I would probably
That's an answer. Yeah, that's an answer. I mean, it doesn't say what it has to be, but I think like implementing those business measures are important, like the PayPal. Those I think are the most important because if you can't
as a
make
content
money,
creator, yes, 1,000%, right? But also you have to look at it as for us, they've done a lot, right? So like if I'm not taking shots at nobody, all right? I'm not taking shots at nobody. If you can't punch in your card instead of using PayPal, you don't support that person. If you want to gift 5 subs, you will gift 5 subs. Or you will use the link in the chat and send them $25 to their PayPal. Like there's ways around it. Like you will find the Cash App, Venmo. If you're in Canada, you will click the link that is, whatever. But I think personally, if you're looking at it as a business of the front side of it, I personally think that bells and whistles are extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Channel points, interaction. So I don't know.
I would agree with that though. Yeah, I agree with both.
I can't give you a straight answer.
I think for newer streamers, the bells and whistles are really important because it takes away that, like, you get more comfortable more, I guess, quickly because you have the extra help, right? When you go to kick, you don't have that. It's just you. So
it's all bare bones,
which is good because you'll develop more. But I think for people just starting out, it's really hard to engage people without them.
So one of my stream team members, I'll keep this short and sweet. One of my stream team members was extremely reliant on his Mix It Up. Extremely reliant. And I was like, listen, bro, if you want to make the switch, the people are there for you. Will switch. They'll go with you. And dude had so much success over here.
Yeah.
So I think it develops you fundamentally to have bare bones, just because it doesn't give you something to lean on as much.
There's no crutch.
Does it suck? Absolutely. Do I miss my yes and my hype train dances and all the things? Yeah, dude. Hydrate even. As much as I hate that stupid fucking channel point, yeah, I miss it all because like that's something that was there. That a lot of people, especially the OGs, are used to, and they no longer have. So.
Yeah, and I think they're good for people who necessarily don't wanna chat and they just kind of want to be like, hey, I'm here,
lurk like the one channel point lurk, hey, I'm here, the little check-in. I used to have a little check-in digit down there, just to like say, hey, I'm lurking or whatever.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean that's a good answer though. I agree. Let's see what else we got. So I'm gonna try to frame this in a little bit nicer format. So in your opinion, at this point in time, do you think a 50-50 sub split is unfair to any platform's creators?
Yeah, I sure do. Short and sweet, yeah. Nobody should ever take half your money. So especially if you live, in America, like we get half our shit taken, and then another quarter of it taken by Uncle Sam. So like, I have a whole loaf of bread, and then when my bring home is 2 slices. At the end of the day, I got enough to make me a sandwich. I don't know. Yeah, I think 50-50 is way too much.
Yeah, it's not fair. Especially, inflation and everything is just so expensive these days that it's like, at the end of the day, it's just, I think if you're doing this part-time and money is not the part of why you're doing it, then whatever, it doesn't matter. But
I will say this, going forward, subs and things are obviously my key, like how I live. If I were to do it differently, I would take probably a year or 2 to build other platforms so that way I wasn't so reliant.
Yeah.
Just to have like a little trickle of, if I could get a YouTube video trickle once in a while or a TikTok, to trickle in once in a while. Being so heavily reliant on subs it sucks. Because there's some months, as a full-time, I'm like, well, this one's going to sting. you know. And then obviously, if I do an event or whatever, I'm like, okay, we're good. You know, if next month is slow, we're okay.
Yeah.
But if I were to do it differently, I would probably take a year to develop somewhere else to have some form of, um, or even start sooner, right? Because I put YouTube off for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
so um, being so heavily reliant on something, especially on Twitch, is scary at times for sure.
Yeah. So almost like not streamlining your source of income and having more options, because you
Multiple.
never know, I think you've said this before. It's like, some months people are going to have extra money and they're going to be able to support you more than other months. But then life happens and you can.
Life do be lifing.
There's in some communities, there's one or two people that are a high percentage of that streamer's income. And if that person is having a rough month, then that's life changing. Even 10% of someone's income, that's a big change.
Yeah. I mean, I have 3 people that I'm are my big hitters that I thank relentlessly, right? And when they're like, "Hey, bro, life's life," and I'm like, "My life's about to be life too."
We're lifing together now.
We're lifing together, So no, yeah, 100%. But we with content going out and things like that, there's always room for somebody to come in and even 5 subs.
Yeah.
If somebody's going through a rough month and you have somebody new come in and um, pick up where somebody else can't. I mean, that's the whole revolving door of it, I guess. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah. I mean,
as far as
fluctuates.
Right. Every month is, I'm like, well, am I gonna hit my goal? But that's the life I chose to live, and that's it is what it is. I'm much happier stressing about that than I would be, kissing some boss's toes. So I'm cool.
And I think what you just said is like what it kind of comes down to is I don't think this is a new feeling. I think this is just entrepreneurial spirit at its finest. Is like, you don't necessarily know if you're going to have a paycheck next month. And that's
right.
And I think for some people, it's like who have never owned their own business and then go into streaming, they're like, well, this sucks. I don't even know if I'm going to make any money this month. But that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what owning a business, whether it's a streaming business, a law business, or any
sandwich
business.
shop, it don't matter. Yeah. Like, you are very reliant on your customers, and that's the way it is.
And a lot of people forget that.
A lot of people, especially when they get that newfound fame. Oh man, I've watched so many people become just absolute animals, and it's just like, wow, if it weren't for those 100 people in your chat, you would be nothing. Don't forget that. Like if they all decided to just get up and leave the lunch table, you would be there twiddling your thumbs. So
yeah. It's like it's any business.
I think my people probably too much. They probably get annoyed with it, but
yeah. I mean, I think, and it's hard because like I've had people tell me like, stop saying thank you. And it's like, and I'm somebody who I never even expected somebody to ever want to even give me 5 subs, let alone 25, 100.
Even where I'm at, which isn't very much, further down the road, dude. Even where I'm at, I still am like, you guys wanna give me a sub? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Skittle says he says thank you as much as he says sorry.
Yeah.
But it's better to be humble than, like you were saying, to forget, because at the end of the day, this is a business, right? You're doing it full time. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business, right? And it is what it is.
I tell them, if you guys weren't here, I'm just another person on this platform with a camera in their face. That's exactly what it is. So, Yeah, man. It's been really real in these streets. Been really real.
Well, that's a good segue into we'll save this one for last. Actually, this is a good one to go out on. So I'm gonna go to this one first. So this one was actually a question for me, but I guess we can. I guess you can't really answer this one. But what's your best advice for someone who is currently working full time, but doesn't have the luxury to work from home if they want to go into streaming and content creation? Okay, we'll take it in two parts quickly. So number one, I disagree with the word luxury. I don't think it's a luxury that I work from home. I think that I worked very hard to be able to work from home. I earned the job I have now. I'm super grateful for it. But, I've been a lawyer for 7 years. I worked under absolutely horrible bosses. It's no surprise. What you see with attorneys on TV being horrible bosses, it's a real thing. I also went to school for 20 years. You have to remember that. I didn't have a break. So it's not a luxury.
Hell no.
It's not a luxury. While you guys are out traveling the world and going to Paris and with elephants in Thailand, I was in school. I never stopped. So it's not a luxury. I think it's something you have to work towards. And if you want it enough, you'll get it. And 20 years, I'm counting preschool to the end of law school, just so you know.
Okay, well.
It's actually 20, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first part. Second part is I didn't always work from home when I was streaming. I actually, the first year I was streaming, I was working full time in a law firm, and I was streaming from. I remember I would come home, I would stream like 7 to 10, and I was playing Elder Scrolls at the time, and nobody cared about Elder Scrolls.
I wasn't present for that one.
Yeah, he wasn't there yet. And then I, it just didn't. It was hard. It's the same difficulty it is now. The only benefit, obviously, working from home is that I'm here already, so I don't have to commute and set things up. But I guess my advice for somebody working full time is if you want it enough, you're going to do what it takes to make it work, no matter what it is.
I agree.
There were days where I would come home and I would be exhausted. Like I was talking to people all day. I would just the last thing I want to do is talk to more people.
Talk to more people. Bro, I was working at the car wash for the first 3-4 months of streaming, and I was like, man, I get off at work, I'm like, because I'd have to greet people because I was the assistant manager. So I was talking to 200, 300 cars a day. Hey, welcome to so-and-so. What kind of wash would you like? Whatever. I'm like, man, I got to talk to these.
But you do it, and I don't want to say force because that's not a good word, but I knew that I could do it. I was just getting in my head, and I was being a little lazy in that part of it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I met some of the best people during that phase of I'll call it my streaming career, who I still see in chat right now. I'm looking at one of their names. Shout out Sassy Pickle, Sam. Are people who I've known for over 2.5 years now. And, then working from home, obviously, I've been able to transcend anything I was able to do before. But that was a long answer, but I'm a lawyer, you guys, so that's what happens. My one-liner would be if you want to make it work, you will. And if you don't push yourself to make it work, it won't. And that's what it is. It's going to be hard when you work full time.
Everything comes down to that want.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes down to that want. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're getting into streaming for the money, you ain't going to make it. You have to absolutely love this shit. Because the emotional roller coaster that you're about to get on is about to take you for a fucking ride. So if you don't love this shit and you want to do it full time, good luck.
Yeah. And that's
all I got to say.
That's the real truth. And there's like and I see you do it too. And that you're someone I've learned this from actually, is that like there's days where you're mentally not in it, you don't go live. And I think that's the most valuable tool anybody could use, because, and I know people say this all the time on TikTok. They're like, well, if you don't feel it, don't go live. But but it's true in that like it ruins it for you. From my experience, like if you go live when you don't feel like you're in it, it makes it not fun.
Not only that, but like we're here to make people's days better. If we're coming to stream with 50% energy, they're gonna feel that. That's it. The reason I don't go live is, there's some days that, especially when I'm down bad, like if my revenue's down bad or whatever for the month, I'll push myself. But I'll be like, hey guys, chill day, just playing games, and usually, them's the days that take off, and then all of a sudden, we got a crazy stream going on,
Yeah, it is.
I definitely I will 1000% stand behind your mental health takes priority over everything. I told you beginning of 2023, I went through it, and like your mental health is number one priority, especially when it comes to if it comes to anything, but when it comes to putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to, I don't want to say, for lack of better terms, cater to other people. Your mental health it has to be number one priority because you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
1000%.
You can't compromise your mental health. Yeah. Like there's a lot of things you can make compromises for with anything, and I think mental health is one of the things if I had to say one thing you shouldn't compromise, it's that.
Right. Because you can. You can. It's not going to do you no good.
It won't get better.
You're going to start spiraling. You're going to go down a hole. But like, I had to learn that because one of my biggest sayings is all gas, no brakes. I said that at the beginning of this year because that's what we're doing. We're hammering right now. I got my foot through the floorboard, like 15 TikToks a day through the floorboard, just hammering. But when I get to that point to where I'm about to snap, that's when I'm, all right, time to take a break, take a weekend off, whatever. Knowing your limits is another really big thing, especially as a content creator. Pushing your limits, cool. Hammer that shit till you can't do it anymore. But knowing where that fine line is, it took me a long time, and sometimes I still like to play with that line, see if I could get a couple more, getting to identify, like knowing yourself and identifying where your cutoff is massive, especially when it comes to this.
I agree. So we're coming on a little over an hour. I wanted to get through as much of the Q&A that was submitted. There's a few that we didn't get to. A couple of them are a little bit of an off-stream question. So if you guys want to DM them to me specifically, because I don't know who sent these because they're all anonymous, you are more than welcome to, and I can send them to Toon, and he can kind of give you a little paragraph answer. But the last question, says, for both of you, where do you hope to see yourselves in terms of streaming and content creation in the next 5 years? I guess, Toon, you can go first.
The next 5 years is that's a steep assumption that live streaming will still be valuable. The way that live streaming is going right now, it is a reality TV sitcom. Everybody wants the real life shenanigans. All the IRL streamers are pulling the most views because literally America runs on shit TV for decades, right? Where would I like to be? I would like to hopefully it'll still be here. My end goal for the year is 100 CCV, which is doable. I think anyway. I would like to still be streaming in 5 years. There's a lot of people that want to just set themselves up for success and then fucking peace out. I like to do it for the friendships and the relationships and stuff like that. I think it's a lot of fun. I do it for both fun and business, I guess. Where would I like to be? Statistics, I couldn't give you an answer. Comfortable. That's where I
Okay.
would like to be 5 years from now. Revenue, not having to worry about, subs, not having to worry about subs would be great. Those would just be, if people want to,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube doing well, if TikTok's still around or the new platform that comes around doing well, so on and so forth, enough to where I don't have to necessarily worry about, somebody gifting a sub. If they just want to come hang out, they can just come and hang out, and it's just fucking enjoy the vibe and chill. So comfortable.
Okay.
5 years comfortable.
That's a good answer. I think that like people overestimate being comfortable as a goal. Like just being okay.
Yep.
Not having to worry is a really good goal. For me, 5 years. How old? I'm getting old. I guess in terms of streaming and content creation, I would like to be doing it full time in 5 years. I think that's a long enough time for me to be able to figure out exactly what I want to do. I love streaming. I love the friendships I've made from it. And like you said, it could be gone tomorrow. Who knows? So I think like being more well-rounded in 5 years is also a good goal. And having, like you said, stuff everywhere and not just being a streamer, but being a creator and, not relying on streaming income, right, to pay the bills, not relying on subs, and just having that more well-rounded
feeling.
Yeah.
The feeling of having value on multiple platforms, finding that value that you bring. I still don't even.
Yeah.
People are like, "I love your vibe." I'm like, "What is it? Can you tell me?" Because I'm still trying to find my value. But like, obviously, I know that I bring value to people's lives, or else they wouldn't be there. But like, finding that value that you want to just like hone in on and dial in, and that's what it is. Like Tails, she's goofy. She's got that charisma about her. That's what she dials in on. Tim, he's got the genuine whatever vibe that everybody feels. For me, he's got fall damage. He hones in on that. He's the break your legs guy. For me, I haven't found that yet. So, I guess in 5 years, I hope to have that.
Yeah, and I would say like I don't even think you are gonna find it. I think it's gonna find you. I think a lot of these like quirks that we love about people are things that kind of just evolved over time.
Yep.
And
I agree with that.
I think it's hard because I think it goes back to like you saying when you force something, it never seems genuine. So you kind of got to let it form itself and form its own persona. And I think, I don't know, in 5 years, and this is actually a question I didn't read, but I guess this kind of relates to it. But one of the questions was, do you feel like if you were to do this full time, you'd be giving up your career as a lawyer? And I've gotten this question, and people have actually commented this on my TikTok. Lovely people. And I always say no, because, and this is like, this is with anything, like your education, your friendships, your whatever, that don't make you as a person. They're just your background. And I say
it's your ace of spades.
Yeah. I say this to people all the time, is that like my education, my background, my professional background is part of me that allows me to do all these other things. Right. And part of being a creator is business, right? And I think that I wouldn't have any of my business background or education without being a lawyer. So I don't think I'd be giving it up. I think I'd just be using it in a way that is not as traditional as people would think. And that's kind of the future. I feel like any job now, people are inventing all these crazy ways to use their different degrees and titles and experience. And I think that's really what the future is. I think strict career paths are gone.
Yeah, traditional is gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
My grandpa swore, he's like, get a job at a factory. My dad's a project launch manager for a production company. He's like, when I told him that I was gonna be a streamer, he was like, yeah, okay, buddy. So now he's one of my biggest supporters.
Yeah.
Just had to give him a little proof first, but
But
I agree. It's an ace. It's a part of you. I mean, it might not be so profound in 5 years, right? Your new people might be like, oh, he's a lawyer. Oh, he's a lawyer. So like it might not be so immediate. Like, hey guys, I gotta go work. You know, I gotta go do my lawyer thing. It might not be so upfront, but
Yeah.
the people that know will know. You know.
Yeah, and I mean that's all I could hope for is being, still being me, and that's what I plan on, and I think that's what you plan on and have been doing this whole time. So I can give you that. My biggest applause for Toon would be from day one. He's still the same Toon.
One guy that stays real. Goddamn, so bitch.
But thank you, Toon, for coming on. I hope you had fun. I think
I appreciate you having me.
We got through everything that we wanted to get through. And I hope in 5 years I can have you back on, and we'll have maybe
hopefully the podcast cooking. Maybe that's another avenue.
Maybe.
I was just talking to people in the Discord. I was like, I don't think I've ever talked to Ray one-on-one ever. So we even played Fortnite, but he was working, so like I didn't get to talk with him.
Yeah, and I thought about that too. I was like, wait, I don't think we've ever really spoken like this, which I think it was kind of nice because it was new for me, and I felt like it would be new for everybody then, which was nice. Yeah. Like I didn't have this loaded background of information on you, which was nice.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, who knows? 5 years from now, you may be back on. You may be 10,000.
He's kicking me off for 5 years,
deep,
guys.
And maybe I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a couple years. But thank you guys for hanging out. I'm gonna end my stream. Toon, when can we see you next live? Shameless plug. Let's go.
Tomorrow,
Sunday, right? Community Day.
Yeah, tomorrow at 2. I don't know if I'm skipping it or not. If not, Monday. Monday at noon.
Consistency.
Toon at noon. Well, tomorrow we're talking about a meetup. So if you guys want to come to the TGC meetup, you gotta pop into the Discord. We're gonna be talking about it. But if I'm not live tomorrow, Monday through Friday, Toon at noon, EST.
Perfect. And plug you guys. All of our socials, both of us are down there on the bottom. If you don't follow either of us on anything, I don't know what you're doing because we're two pretty funny people. I mean, Toon's a little bit funnier, and he's got like the thirst traps going on. So if you're into that definitely, you know where to follow.
Haven't been to the gym in a while.
But I will see you guys later. Toon, thank you again.
Thank you.
You got to say the thing. You got to say your thing when you end stream.
Peace, love, and chicken grease.
See you guys later. Bye.